Welcome to Drinks Coach. This is the big one. This is value for money wines for Christmas Day. We all need value in our lives. Now we're probably only having Christmas Day with one other significant person, or if you're very lucky, maybe a family of 2 or 3. I'm in tier 4 in London. We're not supposed to mix with anyone. Here's the magic. These are wines that you can buy in your local supermarkets or local retailers or online, which I think offer brilliant value for money, and that if you're caught short financially this Christmas, then these wines honestly will give you all the pleasure you need if you're having a proper classic Christmas lunch. Okay, let's start off with this little cheeky fella. I think I've recommended this before. Couldn't be bothered to find out because it's out there. Of all the sparkling wines I tasted recently, and a little tasting I did for myself, this is the one that really stood out. Okay. By the way, I'm not sponsored or paid for by Bollinger, but in the posh lineup of wines that I've done for this Christmas, it was an Ayala wine. And this is made by Bollinger. It's a Bollinger-owned estate. However, you might be very surprised to hear that it's 17 quid. 17 quid for Bollinger? Well, no, not exactly. This wine is a Crement de Loire. Crement is the kind of like the byword for value of sparkling wine in France. There are Crements in the Alsace, there are Crements in Burgundy, there are Crements in the Loire, there's Crements in Bordeaux, and there's Crements in Limoux. Have I missed any out? I don't think so. Their wine's made the same way that champagne is made. Got to be careful how I word that. But from regions which aren't exclusively known for their sparkling wine production. And sometimes they're kind of like an afterthought. It feels like that in Alsace and Bordeaux up to a point. But they are now becoming really important. There's a wonderful producer, Chateau Chile in Bordeaux, which is owned by my ex-professor at the University of Bordeaux, Francis Courcelle, and his daughter Sylvie is the winemaker there. And they make a Crement de Bordeaux, which is utterly divine. And I think it's like €8 or something ridiculous. I don't know how cheap it is, but it's cheap. Here we've got a wine that's owned by Bollinger Estates, and it's called Langlois Chateau. This is from Davys Wine Shop, Davys Wine Merchants in London. You can buy them online. Thank you again, Katya, for sending this, because I specifically requested it. Absolutely brilliant wine. I think they sell a similar one in Majestic called L'Extra de Langlois, which is about £15 and maybe £11.99 on offer. I'm not sure it's quite as incisive and delicious as this, but very well done, Menzendorf, and bring this in. Menzendorf, the importers, part owned by Bollinger. So it's all very, very happy, very polished business. This wine's made in the Loire. The Loire Valley is famous for Chenin Blanc, which is a great variety which makes quite good sparkling wine. There's also quite a bit of Chardonnay. There's also Cabernet Franc. And Cabernet Franc, a firm red variety, the original red variety of Bordeaux, which goes back well over 1,000 years, makes really decent sparkling wine. It makes wonderful structures in sparkling wine. It gives it a crunchy, crispy edge. It gives it angles. Kind of Bauhaus. I don't know. Right, so. Enough said. Delicious. Lemony, frothy, creamy. It's like a lemon sherbet fountain. Cannot fail to put a smile on your face while you're opening your grandpa's socks. Then, 2 wines from the same producer. Well, producer, importer, retailer. Marks and Spencer's. The reason why I've picked these is because they're both widely available. They're in store. I mean, some of these are available in petrol stations, for goodness sake. So if you're down to the last minute, you go, oh my God, we forgot to buy wine for the dinner tomorrow. You can even buy this one, as far as I remember, in BP garages up and down the coast. So, why have I chosen this? Very quick anecdote. I know they're not very quick normally, but I'll try. Back in the day, 15 years ago, a wonderful guy called Nick Tarayan, one of the great restaurateurs of London, was restaurant manager for Prue Leith at the Leith's restaurant in Notting Hill. It was the quintessential place to go and eat if you wanted to dine English with polish. Not old school like rules, modern. Chez Bruce would have that moniker today, I think, or the Harwood Arms in Fulham, or La Trompette. These are places which do modern English par excellence. I was invited by Richard Neal, who was the then columnist for The Telegraph, one of the best wine columnists this country ever had, because he actually wrote proper journalism and had a really inquisitive and cautious palate. He had a natural cynicism about him, which held his journalism in great stead. And it was going to be Nick Ryan, Richard Neal, and my good self, surrounded by 160 wines sent in by every single retailer at the time. And back those days, there were many more retailers. Bottoms Up, Threshers, Odd Bins. I mean, there was loads. And they all sent in their 6 wines, which they reckoned would make Christmas a smiley experience. I turned up and they cooked the perfect turkey spread. Perfect feather bronze turkey. Perfect bread sauce, perfect pigs in blankets, perfect sprouts, perfect parsnips, even pickled red cabbage, something my dad used to do for us because he's German. Wonderful lineup of food, and the smoked salmon at the beginning, and all that sort of stuff. And we tasted all 160 wines, which is actually quite a tough day's call, really. That's quite a lot of work. And then we tasted the wines in categories with the food, and some of the wines which kind of were, the wine's all right. Where's that from? Oh, it's Tesco. Oh, okay. What is it? Pinot Grigio. When we tasted it with the food, we had this Blue Brothers epiphany, this Damascene moment, where wines which you wouldn't normally just think about at Christmas were magical with roast turkey and all the trimmings. And the one that came out that we all said, oh my God, did we not know that? I almost feel embarrassed to hold it up. Pinot Grigio. It's been said that during the Second World War, England was fueled by tea. I'm going to say it now, but COVID has been fueled by a 2-for-1 deal on Pinot Grigio. This is the white wine that doesn't taste of white wine very much. It's the drink that is more of an alcoholic delivery system than a flavour. And the reason why I'm picking these is because this is a $7.99 everyday Marks and Spencer's basic range. I'm not going to say basic, bitch. Oh, I said it by accident. Okay, this is a Pinot Grigio. If I was going to pay £8 for Pinot Grigio, this stuff actually tastes of something. It's actually really nice compared to the others from other supermarkets. So £8 buys you a cheap Italian wine that's just easy quaffing anyway. Buy a box of 6, maybe get a discount. Then you can use it for everything. But this wine is really, really nice. Surprisingly, this particular grape variety is amazing with roast turkey. You might be thinking red. Most people want a red wine on Christmas Day. It's a big bird, lots of meat, or red wine with meat. No. My experiences show that Pinot Grigio, more importantly, we're going to come on to it in a minute, Pinot Gris is better. So, if you want to not drink that, and you're used to drinking that, and you want to pimp your Pinot Grigio, this is La Prendina Estate. I've lost count of the years that Marks and Spencer's has been selling this, but La Prendina makes this amazing Bianco di Custosa, which is a white wine I used to love drinking in Italy. Sue Daniels has blended this wine. It's from the Provincia di Mantua, see? I think it's £10.99. 11 quid. Okay, so 11 quid. And this is a premium single estate Pinot Grigio, which has more richness, more peachy, quincy fruit, more layers, but still dry, like Italian wine, crisp and dry. But this wine has real character. Better than any of that is Alsace Pinot Gris. I bought this at Waitrose yesterday for a show which I was doing about Christmas wines and with cheeses and things. This is £10.99. It's from the Cave de Beblenheim. I used to be the wine buyer for Alsace at Waitrose, and I used to buy this exact wine and blend it every year. And it's a small Cave co-op in the Alsace, which is that place that kind of is between France and Germany, but is actually still in France. It's the only place in France where the grape variety is actually the name of the wine. I mean, in Burgundy, you can't write Chardonnay on the label unless it's from the village of Chardonnay. That's a bad example. But, Bordeaux doesn't say Cabernet Merlot, Petit Verdot. It doesn't. It just says Bordeaux. We kind of take for red that it's made from those varieties. We're just not told what. Now, this is £10.99, 2018. And I can honestly say I was very proud of this wine, but I don't remember blending a wine that tasted this good. It was always a kind of toss-up between, do we go full-on reserve? Do we go kind of and put the price of the wine up and just hang it? Or do we just go cheap and just play the numbers? And it was always a blend between the reserve wine and the basic wine. And so how much can we afford? 10%, 15, 20? This is truly delicious Alsatian wine. And Pinot Gris is the same grape variety as Pinot Grigio, but this wine is a little bit fuller, a lot richer, more rounded in flavour. It's like a mouthful of like persimmons and quinces and peaches, and it's got a mouth-watering quality about it, although it's not very high in acid. This is magic with Christmas turkey. There is no better wine match, in my opinion, of any of the varieties I've ever tasted than this. It's just whether you're okay with drinking a white wine with your Christmas turkey. You can go really crazy. Go Domaine Weinbach or Zinfandel. You can pay £50-60 for a really amazing Pinot Gris if you want to rock the boat out. And to my experience, it doesn't matter how high up the ladder you go, it always goes to roast turkey. It's the earthiness of the turkey. I don't know what it is. It's not a sweet flavoured meat in its own right, but this, wow. Wow. This is what I'm going to drink on Christmas Day before the Pinot Noir that I've picked out. Okay, so, wonderful wine. £10.99 is Christmas, for God's sake. If you bought a turkey crown, it's probably cost you 50 quid. Don't ruin your day. Buy one of those. And also, it's always quite punchy. 13% alcohol, a little bit round and rich. I can't say enough about how good this wine is. I'm going to buy a few bottles of this from Waitrose. Oh, just remembered, if they've still got some, there is a Pinot Gris, no, a Pinot Blanc, which is related, in Lidl's. If you go into Lidl's and ask, do you have any Pinot Blanc? There's one that's like $7.99. It's amazing value, and that would be a good, cheap alternative too. But no, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris, that's my tip as the perfect variety for turkey. Let's get real now, though. We need red on Christmas Day, don't we? Right? So if you're not having roast goose, you're not having beef Wellington, what do I recommend? Well, there's two ways to go. And actually what happened was Ewan Murray, who is in charge of all of the communications for the wonderful Wine Society. Yes, the Wine Society, if you're not a member. Or you could buy someone you love membership at the Wine Society, which is what I'm giving my father-in-law this Christmas. It's a lovely present. And you get thousands of wines to look at. You get amazing, amazing content from some real experts about what to drink when, little deep dives into special producers. Ewan said, what do you drink on Christmas Day? I said, well, I'm more of a Beaujolais person. Well, in that case, you should try the Society's exhibition Fleurie. Quote, it's singing at the moment, unquote. Also, I'm going to send you a bottle of wine, which I really like, which is quite, it doesn't sound like Ewan Murray at all. Also, but I'm going to send you a richer, sort of softer, bigger, more New Worldy wine for those people that aren't really into kind of the leaner perfume styles of wine. So he sent me a Sobon estate, Amador County, Zinfandel, called Rocky Hills. So let's put these in two different glasses. Fleurie. Now, I'm an ambassador of Beaujolais, and I've been trying to tell people to drink Beaujolais, or the crus of Beaujolais. There's little regions within Beaujolais that make super premium wines, and Fleurie is maybe one of the most famous, if not the famous of all of those. You might have heard of Brut, or Morgon, or Cherubla, or Julienas. They're all different ones. Regny, Côte de Bruy, Chenin. You can go on and on. Well, you can't. There's 10 of them. Okay, so Beaujolais have asked me to do a lot of work for them this year, so I have to disclose that. And I was wanting to do a show about Beaujolais before Christmas. But DHL lost the wine. I mean, they've literally lost it. We've been looking all week for it, but I was going to do a show going, the best red wine, in my opinion, to go with turkey is Beaujolais, and then give you an experienced view of how wonderful the region of Beaujolais is. But I can't do that. But thank you very much, Ewan, for at least bringing a bottle of Beaujolais Joy to my house before Christmas. Because buy Beaujolais Village. In Waitrose, there's one that's $8.99 that's normally $13.99 from Monsieur Gagnon. There's all sorts of good producers out there. Beaujolais works really well. It's quaffable. It goes with cranberry sauce. It goes with veg. And it also goes with the delicious flavour of turkey. Look at that colour. Not very deep, but deep enough. It's made from a grape variety called Gamay. And this is a joyful taste. Going back to what Ewan said, quote, it's singing at the moment. like a canary. This wine is wonderful. And it's from a vintage which I absolutely love. It seems to be so precocious and easy to drink when it's young. 2019. There's a producer called Frederick Byrne who makes Beaujolais Village. Beaujolais from a particular vintage called Lantigny. Those wines, I think about them 6 months after I've tried them. They were so poetic and nice to drink. It was like, yes, Ewan, absolutely superb choice for Christmas Day. So go out to whatever store you can and get Fleurie or a Morgon or a Beaujolais, if that's the kind of thing that you like. Have a try. It's just great. And it's a classic match, but it's a match that I really adhere to. Other people, Oz Clarke, the famous wine writer, namely, likes to go big bitch. Likes to go oaked Australian Shiraz, and this is Ewan's other recommendation, which is wonderful. Colour. This is Zinfandel. Yeah? We expect to be pale rosé. Well, that was just the 70s. Get over yourself in the 80s. Zinfandel is a very dark variety. It's actually a variety that we know as Primitivo di Manduria from Italy, from the southern heel of Italy. And before that comes from Dalmatia, which is a hot peninsula at the bottom of Croatia. So that's where it started and eventually made its way across to California. One can only presume, but with Franciscan monks and things, for sacramental wine. But it has this wonderfully Christmas flavour. This is Sobon, Amador County Zin. Look it up. Maybe you can buy it elsewhere. Wonderful wine. I'm trying to remember the price. I think it's about 17 or 16 pounds. I think it's 16 pounds. It just smells of Christmas cake. It smells of Dundee cake, like baked currants and baked plums and black currants. It smells like, like a sopping wet slice of moist Christmas cake. It's velvety. Typically aged, I think, at least in part in American oak Zinfandel, although this could be French oak, but the oak gives this a vanilla-y taste. So you've got this taste of blueberry jam rippled through an ice cream or in a kind of vanilla tart or a vanilla custard tart. I mean, do I need to say any more? Does that not appeal to you? Quite a beautiful wine. Absolutely delicious and worth every penny. Just astonishing bargains. I think this was like 11 or 12 pounds. I can't remember. Anyway, but there you go. This is value for money Christmas right here. It doesn't have to be this Fleurie, but buy another Fleurie from 2019. Buy it from Waitrose. They've got a great range of Beaujolais, or Sainsbury's or Tesco. I'm sure they're all doing quite a good job this Christmas. There's plenty of Zinfandel around. If you like Zinfandel, if you like big soft wines, this is great with I mean, even if you had barbecued brisket of beef, this would go. See you next time.